Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If this is your first time here, this is a place where we tell real-life stories that remind us how fragile, unpredictable, and incredible human beings can be. Stories of courage, instinct, and moments that redefine what we think is possible. So if that's your kind of content, make sure you're subscribed, sit back, and let this story sink in. The hum of the engine was steady. The sky outside the small plane stretched endlessly, painted in soft blues and whites. At 18,000 feet above the earth, the world below looked peaceful, almost unreal. Inside the cockpit, everything felt routine. Too routine. The pilot had done this flight dozens of times before. Checklists completed. Instruments steady. Autopilot engaged. Just another normal trip through the sky. In the passenger seat sat a 17-year-old girl. She wasn't a pilot. She wasn't trained for emergencies. She wasn't expecting anything unusual to happen that day. She was just along for the ride. Minutes passed. Maybe longer. Then something subtle changed. The pilot stopped speaking. At first, she didn't think much of it. Silence in a cockpit wasn't strange. But then she noticed his posture, his head slightly slumped, his hands no longer adjusting controls. She said his name. No response. She said it louder. Still nothing. A quiet panic crept in. She reached out and shook his arm. Nothing. Her heart began to pound, each beat louder than the engine. The realization hit her all at once, heavy and terrifying. The pilot was unconscious. 18,000 feet in the air. No co-pilot. No training. Just her. For a brief moment, fear tried to take over. The kind of fear that freezes your hands and steals your breath. Her mind screamed that this wasn't possible, that this couldn't be happening. But somewhere beneath the panic, something else stirred. Instinct. She looked out the window again. The ground was impossibly far away. There was no room for hysteria here. No time to break down. Whatever happened next depended on her. She grabbed the pilot's headset and put it on with shaking hands. The radio crackled with static and distant voices. She had no idea what to say, but she pressed the button anyway. Hello. Her voice came out thin. Can anyone hear me? A pause. Then a voice answered. Yes, we hear you. Identify yourself. Her throat tightened. I'm not the pilot. The pilot passed out. I don't know what to do. On the other end of that radio, air traffic controllers instantly understood the gravity of the situation. Years of training kicked in, not just to manage planes, but to save lives. Okay, the voice said calmly. You're doing great. We're going to help you. Just listen carefully. Those words mattered more than anyone could know. Inside the cockpit, alarms hadn't gone off. The plane was still flying straight. Autopilot was doing its job. But autopilot doesn't land planes. Autopilot doesn't make decisions in emergencies. She wiped her palms on her jeans and focused on the instruments in front of her. They looked like a foreign language, numbers, dials, lights she'd never been taught to understand. The controller began asking questions. Can you see the pilot breathing? Is the plane stable? What do you see on the screen in front of you? She answered as best she could, describing shapes, colors, and numbers without fully understanding them. Every sentence felt like a lifeline. Below her fear was something surprising, clarity. She wasn't thinking about what could go wrong. She wasn't thinking about dying. She was thinking about the next instruction. Controllers coordinated instantly. Medical teams were alerted. Another pilot was brought onto the radio, someone who knew that exact type of aircraft. Hi, the new voice said gently. I'm going to stay with you the whole time. You're not alone. Those words again. Not alone. She followed directions step by step. Adjust this. Don't touch that. Watch the horizon line. Breathe. At one point, she looked at the pilot again. His chest moved slightly. He was alive, but still unresponsive. There was nothing she could do for him now except keep the plane in the air. The sky outside slowly changed color as they began a gradual descent. With guidance, she reduced altitude. Each 1,000 feet felt like an eternity. Her arms ached from tension. Her jaw hurt from clenching. But she didn't let go. Controllers cleared the airspace. One runway. One chance. They explained landing in the simplest terms possible. Line up with the runway. Keep the wings level. Reduce speed slowly. Do not panic. Easy words. Massive responsibility. As the ground came closer, her fear returned, but this time it came with determination. She wasn't just reacting anymore. She was flying. The runway appeared ahead, long and narrow. Too narrow, her mind tried to tell her. But the voice in her headset kept her grounded. You're lined up perfectly. Keep going. Wind buffeted the plane. The nose dipped. She corrected it, hands moving almost automatically now. Seconds stretched. Then the wheels touched the ground. Not smoothly. Not perfectly. But safely. The plane bounced once, then settled. She pulled back gently, just like she'd been told. The aircraft slowed. Finally, it rolled to a stop. Silence. Then applause erupted in her headset. Controllers cheering. Pilots exhaling breaths they didn't know they were holding. She sat there, frozen, tears streaming down her face. Emergency crews rushed toward the plane. The pilot was treated immediately. He survived. And the 17-year-old girl who'd never planned to be a hero that day became one. Not because she was fearless. But because she acted anyway. This story isn't just about aviation. It's about something deeper. About how ordinary people can rise to extraordinary moments when there's no other choice. About how courage doesn't announce itself, it shows up quietly, shaking, unsure, and still willing to try. Somewhere in the sky that day, a line was crossed. Between who she was when she took off, and who she became when she landed. And maybe that's the most powerful part of all.